Hey everyone, Fierce Toast here, welcome back to another Hytale video. In today's video, we will be taking a look at another game that you should definitely consider playing while you wait for Hytale to come out. Vintage Story. You guys really seem to like the last Waiting for Hytale video, so I thought I'd do another one. Then, we'll be looking at the most recent postcard from Orbis. Also, according to YouTube statistics, only one of my viewers is not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, it's probably you, and you should change that now. Anyway, bad jokes aside, let's get into it. So, what is Vintage Story? Similar to Hytale, it's a block game RPG, and it was actually made by a former Hytale dev, at least according to PowerByte7, the main moderator of the Hytale Info subreddit, who I would consider a reliable source. This means there will probably be a far better representation of what Hytale could offer than, say, Origin Realms, which I'm still planning on making more videos on, by the way. The game has tons of unique blocks, mobs, biomes, and structures. When I first spawned into the game, I wasn't all that impressed. It just looked like Minecraft with a texture pack and a shader, nothing too crazy. That was until I came across a trader. This is when I discovered that the game was truly something special. The fluid way the trailer moved, the hunched back, the gorgeous animations, there was obviously so much care put into this single mob. And it's like that with every feature. You can see how much the dev team obviously cared about this game, and it paid off, with me being addicted to Vintage Story for the past couple of days. The similarities to Hytale are quite obvious. For one, similar to Hytale, the game has tons of blocks that are not blocky in nature. Baskets to vases, reeds, leaves, campfires. While a lot of the game is very blocky, a lot of the game is not, with tons of unique models that aren't just retextured cubes similar to Hytale. Another similarity is the textures. Now, looking at them side by side, you might be very confused as to what I'm saying, but let me put it this way. Minecraft textures have no distinct theme, mainly due to the fact that they're very small, and as such it will be difficult to give them any real theming. Hytale's textures, on the other hand, have a very distinctive fantasy, almost comic book style theme. Vintage Story's textures have a very strong fantasy realism theme. Vintage Story and Hytale both have a lot of room for their blocks for texturing, Vintage Story's blocks having around 39 by 39 in space in terms of pixels, and Hytale's having 64 by 64 space, respectively. Because of the two both having a fantasy theme and a distinct theme for general in textures, I'm counting this as a similarity between the two games. In addition to these two similarities, many small individual features from the game are very similar to that of Hytale. Rabbits steal carrots from farms. The game's progression system begins with you picking up rocks off the ground. You have a mini-map. The shaders come with realistic shadows and reflections similar to that of Hytale. There are tons of different structures sprinkled across the landscape. The worlds are going to be very customizable. The height limit in both games is enormous. Both games have character creators that work in similar ways, and they both have incredible soundtracks. In my last video, I said that Realm Origins was probably the closest thing we had to playing Hytale, but after playing Vintage Story, I take that back, as Vintage Story is without a doubt the closest thing we have to the game, and considering it was made by a former Hytale dev, it comes with many similarities to Hytale. If you want something to do while waiting for Hytale, I definitely recommend Vintage Story, unless you're on a budget, because like it costs $23, which it's a little excessive, but you know, it's fine. I rate this game about 4 out of 5 moss horns. There's so much I love about this game, but there are 3 things that drag the game down in terms of quality. 1. The game is quite similar to modded Minecraft. 2. The game has a lot of very confusing mechanics that require a lot of explaining. And 3. The game is quite buggy in its current state. Overall, I definitely recommend the game to anyone who's either a fan of Hytale or Minecraft. Now, on to the most recent postcard from Orbis. It shows a group of players outside their house inside the game, and I must say, it is a great looking house at that. There are just so many different variants to every block, and the house really looks alive because of it. Up here in the sky we see a few crows gliding, and just below we see a cart carrying some food. A few other things to note is that here we see mossy stone pebbles, which, you know, I didn't expect to see that, but okay. And just down here we see a frog jumping out as what is most likely a fly. All in all, it was a pretty great postcard. With that said, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. With that said, I've been Fierce Toast. You guys have been awesome. Have a great day.